So, like many exercises, these aren't particularly inspiring musically or fun, but they are really good for working on technique. So, the first one is a very simple one. We start on A, we go all the way down to D, the lowest note, and then we hold it for as long as we can. So, it's going to go. And when you push, you want to push from your abdomen, using your abdominal muscles. I think people mistakenly call it the diaphragmatic breathing and that, but it's actually your abdominal muscles here. Yeah, and you want to push from here. So when you get to that low D, you want to push from here and try and sustain that note as loud and as full as possible without breaking, and that's the important thing. So once more. So then we go from from B to E, same 5 notes. Then we go C sharp to F. And really feel those muscles moving and pushing the air through. Then we go from D. Then E. F. G. A. And lastly B. And you'll find the higher you get, the more air you need to push through. So you're not going to be able to hold those last notes as long as you can the low notes, which is absolutely fine. We want to develop that. So every time you're doing it, you want to try and push for a little bit longer. Yeah. So okay, so not to the point where you're going to pass out or go dizzy. We don't want any accidents, but you're encouraging that, you're working on that particular breathing control. And that's so important when you're working with any woodwind instrument, but especially with something with a large bore like a low D whistle, for instance. Yeah, you're going to need to push more air through it, and so you need more control. And these exercises, certainly this first one, is helping you encourage that breath control, so that when you're hitting the notes cleanly, you're also encouraging correct finger placement. Yeah, so we're going A, G, F, E, D, and we're making sure our fingers are not leaking. That's the most important thing. When you first start playing low whistle, you may find that you don't cover the holes properly, and again, that's just a matter of practice, getting that into what's called your muscle memory. Yeah, it's your fingers will automatically know where to go. And that's something this exercise is going to do. Don't rush it. Yeah, take your time with it. It's not meant to be done with any kind of speed. So when you first start off, keep it slow. Okay, don't add any vibrato. Keep the note pure. And really feel pushing from the abdomen. That's really important to get that feeling, because that's the powerhouse of generating your tone. You're controlling the air, you're controlling with your abdominal muscle. Yeah, so that's our first exercise. So moving on from that first exercise which we did, we're going to now add an octave up and down. So rather than holding the bottom note like this, going to go bottom note, octave up, and then bottom note again. So same thing with E. So what you want to try and do without using tonguing is tongue the first note by all means, but then just use your breath to push up to the higher note and then reduce the airflow to go back down again. So want clean jumps between the notes. So with that one wasn't that clean, so I need to go much better that time. As I said, when you go past G, you're going to have to put quite a bit more air through the whistle to get clean with the higher register and then come back down again by reducing the airflow. So even if you just practice those octave exercises, that kind of thing, that's good exercise as well. But this is combining going from part of the scale up, down, and then the octave. So when we reverse it, we're going to go up to the B. So we're doing the opposite. So we're starting on high E, going up to high B, octave down, back up. So once again. So we just reverse the pattern. Instead of going from low to low, we go from high, back down again, back up again. So let's do the whole exercise now. So important thing to do, make sure your octave jumps are clean, make sure your fingering is clean, and make sure the rhythm is good, yeah? Want to keep the rhythm as exact as possible, even if you use a click. So if I set my click to, let's see, 60, let me bring it down to 60, there we go. So 1, 2, so plenty fast enough. Now if you want to go reverse it, that sort of thing. So yeah, If you're going to work with a click, that's great. My click there was set to 60, which is plenty fast enough. No reason to go any faster than that. And so what we're encouraging with this exercise is to get a good tone, a good solid sound. So if I was to play the first, the B part of Cape Clear, for instance, where it goes up to that high B, we want to make sure that the tone is there and that we've got plenty of breath control. So it goes... So with that high B, yeah, you need to really push it. You need to have good, solid breath control. That kind of thing. You want to develop a strong tone. Nobody wants a weedy tone. Nobody got time for a weedy tone in slow airplane, certainly. But anyway, that's how we want to approach this exercise. So once you get comfortable with those exercises, we're just going to do 8-note up and down, dead easy, great practice. Again, this is for finger articulation and breathing. So we want to try and get 2 to start with, up and down, and then once we get 2, we want to try and develop 3 if possible. So we're just going from D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D. So we're just going up the first 5 notes and back down again. And we do that all the way up the whistle. So 2 with each. E to B. F to C sharp. G to D. A to E. B to F sharp. C sharp to G. Then D to A. Now there, because this is quite air hungry, I'm struggling to get 2 full ones out of that. I can just about do it. So again, if you're running out of breath, so be it. Don't worry about it. So that time I took a deep enough breath to get 2 good ones. Let's go from E to B now. So once you can do that exercise with 2, then you can speed it up, but make sure you keep the notes even, and we can get 3 out of each. So once we get comfortable with that, we can reverse the pattern. So we go down and up. Same notes, but in reverse order. So we're going to start on the high B, go down, up. And let's see if we can keep that. Again, start off with 2. If you can get 2, yeah. Even if you just get 1, if you're doing it really slowly, that's fine, yeah. But eventually we want to develop the speed, evenness and agility of these fingers. So I'm going to do it a bit quicker. I'm going to get 3 repetitions up and down. So in the lower register, it's much easier. When we get to the upper register, you're going to need to push more air through to get a nice, clean upper register sound. So you may find this a bit frustrating at first and wonder, well, why can't I do that? Why can't I hold those notes as long? And again, you're developing your capacity, you're developing your air control. And let's face it, sometimes your whistle is going to need more air at the top, especially if it's got a wider bore or it's one of those more air hungry whistles like this one, for instance, is fairly air hungry up the top. So it does need control, but you get used to it. And certainly if I'm playing so if I play a bit of Cape Clear, the B section, you can hear what I mean by getting the control. So we want to hit that upper register cleanly. Perfectly possible. Does require the air control, and doing these exercises will give you that capacity. They're important, and it's like any other instrument. You've got to do the groundwork. You've got to put in the time to work on your tone control, work on your breath, and work on your finger articulation. And so it's no different from learning any other woodwind instrument. And because of the wider bore and the nature of the low whistle, you do need to push those upper notes. So when you're doing that 8-note exercise at the top, yeah, you might initially only get 2, but eventually you'll be able to build it up to 3. Like that. I mean, I only just got 3 out of that, but the idea is to build up your capacity. And it's like anything else, you're exercising, yeah? You don't suddenly go to a gym and expect to bench press 90 kilos if you've never bench pressed before. Same thing, you're developing your capacity to control the air, to control your breathing, and to control your tone. And it's all about getting a good tone on the low whistle, especially when you want to play the slow stuff, yeah? Nobody has time for a weedy tone on slow airs on the low whistle. You want to get a nice big... nice big sound, and this is a way to help you do that. And also some of the exercises, just playing long notes, great exercise, helps you develop tone. And again, on the first video I did a couple of years ago, we just did the octaving exercise, which was just going from that kind of thing. And again, just doing that octaving exercise alone will really help tremendously with building your tone and building your breathing capacity. So it's all there. Okay, so that's one on finger exercises. The only other one I've got is basically working on your arpeggios. It's not really a true beginner's exercises, but they're great in terms of working on scale passages, working on the notes within the scales, and you'll find arpeggio patterns come up time and time again in lots of different tunes. So let's have a look at some of the arpeggios which we can do. So with these arpeggio exercises, a lot of my students are working on these, and it's a work in progress, and it's something which you should really practice fairly regularly, even just a 5-minute warm-up. Run through your arpeggios, great practice. Work on finger combinations, working on technique, and also, like everything else, you're working on your breathing capacity. So the first arpeggio is what's called a D major arpeggio. So we want to play D, F sharp, A, middle D. I always call this middle D because you've got a very high D at the top. And then we come back down. So we go D, A, F sharp, D. So when we play, that's our D major arpeggio. The next one is an E minor arpeggio, which is E, G, B, high E, back down, B, G, E. Then we have an F sharp minor arpeggio, F sharp, A, C sharp, high F sharp, come back down, C sharp, A, low F sharp. G major, G, B, D, high G, D, B, low G. A major, A, C sharp, E, high A, sorry, E, C sharp, low A. And the last one we're going to do, B minor, B, D, F sharp, high B, F sharp, D, low B. So let's run through the series of arpeggios, starting off with D. So now comes the fun bit where we reverse the pattern. So we start off high, go down, come back up again. So now you will, of course, want to do those slower. So I'm going to do them much slower, going up, then coming back down. So here we go. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B minor. Now we'll reverse, starting on high B. A, G, F sharp, E, and D. So once you get confident with going up and down, you can do them in groups of two. So you can do 2 arpeggios per breath. So we can go. Same thing when you reverse it. So those are some arpeggio exercises. Start off slowly, as with everything. You may struggle a bit with getting the patterns, but once you've got the patterns, they repeat time and time again. So even if you're doing one, take your time. Say you start with the D. We're really working on finger placement, we're working on breathing, and we're working on always making sure our fingers are as light as possible. So if you get one comfortably, then once you can do the one, you can pair them up. You can even do 3 or work on groups of 3 if you want. Now on this whistle I'd struggle if I was to play it slowly doing a group of 3, but you can go. So you can do it in groups of 3, but you have to speed it up. So I wouldn't attempt the groups of 3 or even the groups of 2 until you get really consistent with just playing them slowly and working to make sure you're getting good whole coverage and the notes are sounding clean. So start off slowly and just do 1. Once you get that comfortably, you can speed them up a bit and then do them in groups of 2. Once that's comfortable, you can speed them up even more and then do them in groups of 3. But the takeaways from this exercise is to make sure always that you're playing rhythmically and evenly. Yeah, you may want to use a metronome, which is absolutely fine, but I wouldn't set it too quickly. So there's some warm-up exercises and some technique exercises for moving on to the low whistle. Hope you found it useful. If you have, perhaps you'd like to subscribe to the Whistleblowers channel. That would be great if you could. Any suggestions or anything else you want to know on low whistle or high whistle or any kind of whistle, just leave me a comment in the comment section below. Please subscribe if you can. It all helps me to make more of these tutorial and tune breakdown videos. And yeah, that's about it from me. I'll see you all shortly. Bye for now.